Maharashtra Board 10th Standard, First Poem. Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. Let's look at Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was born on May 7, 1861. His name is written as Rabindranath Tagore in Indian languages. He was a poet, philosopher, and artist. He wrote many stories, novels, poems, and dramas. He was best known for being the first non-European to be awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 with his book Gitanjali, Song Offerings. The English Gitanjali or Song Offerings is a collection of 103 English prose poems which are Tagore's own English translation of his Bengali poems, first published in November 1912 by Indian Society of London. This famous poem by Rabindranath Tagore was written when India was under British rule. The poem is written in a form of a prayer to the Almighty asking for freedom for the country. Tagore also writes about the different qualities that are desirable for his countrymen to have and approach social, educational, and economic freedom for the people of India as well. The poem was originally composed in Bengali in 1910. Let's read the poem first. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that haven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Now, before beginning with the explanation, I would like to drag your attention to something that is repeated back and forth. Can you see the word where being repeated in almost every line in the beginning? You might feel this is an example of repetition, the figure of speech repetition. But it's not so. It is an example of anaphora. Anaphora is a figure of speech where a word or a phrase is repeated at the beginning of successive clause. Also, one more thing, we can also see that the poem has no rhyme scheme. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, what does the poet mean by this? We need to understand that this poem was written when India was struggling for freedom. The entire atmosphere was gloomy and full of fear, where poor farmers and peasants felt helpless and were ashamed of their condition. Holding head high denotes pride. So poet addresses to the time when people will be strong and fearless and will be able to be proud of their nation. Where knowledge is free, he means that knowledge is free of inequality. Everyone should have right to access knowledge. It doesn't mean that knowledge should be free of cost. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Fragment refers to being broken. Poet wishes that the world shouldn't be broken into pieces. By narrow domestic walls, he means the narrow thinking of people which discriminates on the basis of caste, creed, color, religion, or gender, or any other background. Where words come out from the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Here, he wishes that every individual must be an honest person and not try to deceive others with its dishonest intentions. Where tireless striving, that is continuous non-stop efforts, stretches its arm towards perfection, they should strive hard to achieve perfection. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee. He means where clear stream of reason, that means rational and logical thinking, has not lost its way. He means people should abandon irrational or illogical superstitions and age-old customs and switch to scientific thinking and work towards nation building. From the line into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. With dreary desert, he means the dry place where water is not found. He prays that logical thinking is not lost. Dead habit is not any habit. It refers to the mindset of people. Certain people who are stubborn and do not wish to change their narrow thinking. Such traditions lead to inequality and a threat to humanity. So, poet prays to God with the line where the mind is led forward by thee. Here he says that God should lead them forward and govern their mind. Thee means you. Here God is addressed directly by poet. Into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Again, into ever-widening thought and action means your broad-mindedness, your broad thinking, where you are not restricted, where your thoughts are not restricted to certain inequality or superstitions or old customs or traditions. He wishes, he again directly addresses to God, calling him my Father. Tagore believes that when his nation has fulfilled all these qualities, then that nation, that land, will be no less than any heaven, a heaven of freedom. Thank you for watching. I hope you loved it.